A couple of years ago, I came across this short video by Ami Horowitz of Fox News and how he was going around interviewing two groups of people. One group being white liberal college students, and the other group being black voters. And the whole premise of this video is whether or not ID laws are racist and that they suppress the black vote. And and throughout this video, you're going to see how both groups, but specifically the first group, that being the white liberals themselves, really feel about the very people that they claim to advocate for, which shows the level of hypocrisy um, amongst them. But anyway, but that's fine because this video here just gives me the opportunity to address some of these things. And the way it's going to work is that the first group is going to give their take. Then afterwards, I'm going to give my response. And then the second group is going to give their take and their response to what the first group said. And then afterwards, I give my response to close out the video. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and delve right in.
I'm Ami Horowitz, and I'm here in Berkeley, California to find out if voter ID laws suppress the black vote. Do you have an opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad.
I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed. I also think there's a repression of black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the African Americans.
Now I'm here in East.
Well, let me say first off with that last response from that one female. In regards to criminals, with the current administration right now under President Biden, you have criminals who are not only being let out of prison, but that are given the opportunity to vote. So that's a little that's kind of incorrect on that part. But anyway, I gotta tell you, man, the level of racism in that one part right there was telling because it was subtle, right? It's kind of like that racism you would see like in the movie Get Out in a way like that, because it's not only is it subtle, but that it's benevolent, like benevolent racism, which in some ways is even worse than the hateful overt racism. The reason why I say that, because at least with the overt racism, you know what to expect. All right. You know how to be on guard for it if and when it comes. But the benevolent, subtle racism, you can't really quite measure out what it's going to be like. You can't really anticipate it. And when it does happen, it doesn't hit you at first, but then after a while, you give it a moment, it starts to really sink in, and that's when the offense comes. But anyway, in regards to a lot of guys, you black liberals out there, who follow and look up after these white liberals, this is how they really feel about you at the end of the day. So you might want to reconsider your allegiance to them and to the party that they represent. But anyway, with that part being done, now we're about to head into the second part where Ami interviews black people who then give their response to what the first group said about them. And you're going to find what in the way they react is honestly in a way surprising. You know, especially for those who are too much on the internet. Let's see what transpires.
East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No.
Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes.
Because I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so like we know what we need to carry around.
Yeah, everybody that I know have ID. Like that's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this? Some type of trick candy cameras?
I know, right?
That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's that on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is around you?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Do you have a problem getting there if you have to get there?
No.
I know these sound like silly questions. You know how to get to the DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yes.
You can get there?
Uh-huh.
No problem.
No problem.
Just checking.
Okay.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet, can't figure out how to use the internet.
That's just stupidity, honestly. Everybody has access to the internet. Even a little kid can figure out how to work the internet.
I had access to the internet for years.
You know how to use it properly, right?
Exactly. I do it at work. So, of course, I know how to use it. My kids know how to use it. They all have iPads, iPods, whatever.
Your phone has data?
Mm-hmm.
You can actually
Unlimited.
Unlimited data.
Mm-hmm.
I use my phone as a hotspot.
What does that say to you for the people who have this perception of black people?
They're pretty much ignorant. That's what my thought process was.
I just think that's ignorant. Ignorant.
Ignorant. That's the
Very,
word I hear
very
a lot.
ignorant.
Ignorant.
Very, very ignorant.
Does it sound racist for somebody to say that?
I think it is a little racist because, you're putting people in a category and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe a little bit of racist in it, but like I said, I think it's more stupidity and ignorance.
Judging somebody, like, well, you judging them because they black, saying that they don't got it.
What people are they talking to? Who are these people talking to?
Do you have a problem that if you go to vote and they say, "Can we please see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are"? Are you
Love
cool?
showing my ID.
You have no problem with that?
Nope.
Would you have a problem if when you go to vote, if they say, "Can we please just see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are"? Do you have an issue with that?
No.
Would you have a problem if there was a rule where you have to show your ID in order to vote?
I don't think so. No.
Would you have an issue if there was a rule saying you got to show your ID before you vote?
Nah.
Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
Wow. So as you can see with that second group right there, I must say they handle themselves very well because, again, you would expect when anything is said about black people, automatically they just get straight up offended, outraged, overly emotional, triggered. But it wasn't the case in this video right here. I think that's more so the case on the internet, like on specifically Black Twitter and other outlets. But more so in real life, a lot of us really have a much cooler head about these things. Like in the case right here, they're just more so annoyed and somewhat surprised because they just, well, in regards to one participant, the one female who said, even though it's somewhat racist, it's actually more so ignorant on their part, and basically it falls under stupidity, which is definitely correct. It wasn't just her, but it was definitely a couple of the people who said that, because that's definitely true, because that's what happens when you place a group of people into a box claiming that they don't know up from down. And going back to what I said in the first group, if I haven't said it already, our current president right now, Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, Creepy Joe himself, himself stated that he believes that we as black people don't know how to use the internet. And yet, surprisingly, over 80% of our people voted for this guy, man. And I know for a fact that right now they're definitely regretting that move. But luckily, though, Joe's support amongst black voters is dropping more and more. So that's a wonderful thing right there, because people are waking up to who this guy really is and how he really feels about us. Another thing too, in regards to the brother with the backpack on, I liked how he said how even little kids know how to use the internet, and that is definitely true. Hell, you can show a baby an iPhone, you give it to it to play with, but if you take a phone away from them, they'll cry. And I've seen it before, like on like a little clip on the internet. So anyway, man, it just goes to show you that this whole thing right here, man, just shows you at the end of the day, man, that perception is not always reality. All right? And that no, you're not just another statistic, you're not just a pawn, a mascot as Democrats view black people to be. They're not. And so another thing too, in regards to the DMV, I liked how two of the participants said without any problem where the DMV is on 125th Street and East Avenue. Simple. You know how to get there. I mean, come on. Come on. We're not stupid. Oh. But anyway, man, I just wanted to cover this video because I thought it was very revelatory on both sides, and that it doesn't fit what's many times shown or perceived by in the mainstream liberal media. So anyway, that's a wrap. I'm out. Peace.